my spoiler thing about Mandalorian episode 19 or episode 3 of season 3, whatever you choose to call it. I really liked what I saw. So let's talk about it. First off, we get to Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, and they're in they're in the mines still, and he's recovering from almost drowning, and he takes a sample of the water so he can prove he was there. And as they leave, she looks at him and goes, "Did you notice anything alive in there?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Well, she noticed the mythosaur. So, look at this moment in the history of Bo-Katan as a lesson, okay, of the stories that she thought were fairy tales were not. Okay, that's what that is. Okay, now we get to Coruscant. Coruscant the way it should be shown. Coruscant in all of its splendor. We see the top of the highest mountain on Coruscant on the top level in the that balustrada park place that people were, watching magicians and droids doing juggling and getting street food and people just strolling around. Before that, we were at like what looked to me was a Alcoholics Anonymous type meeting for the Coruscanti wealthy to enjoy how charitable they are, probably in funding the amnesty program. And that day, or that evening, their speaker was, hey, Doug, that speaker was Penn Pershing, Dr. Pershing. And so we follow him throughout Coruscant. He's never really been there. So he's like looking around like, wow, this place is so cool, etc. Hey, Doug. Yeah, and there's a discovery. Bo-Katan in this is discovering what Mandalorians are and the fact that a lot of the things that they said happened a long time ago that she thought was mythology is real. Okay. And Pershing is seeing for himself what the galaxy has to offer, how big it is, how big Coruscant is. There's a trillion beings that live there. This is a far cry from the teeny tiny, myopic, sort of industrial, boring, gray, flat Coruscant that we got from Tony Gilroy. Okay, this is where you spend money. Okay, this is world building. This is what George wanted it to look like. Okay, this is a city planet. All right, now there are lakes there, and the city goes around the lakes. Darth Vader had a castle there, or a palace. The Emperor did. Okay, so it's not that the natural part of Coruscant is gone exactly, but it has been built so built up, and there's so many levels. There are levels to Coruscant that the surface layer doesn't even really know what's down there anymore. Okay, that's how deep it is. That's the tallest mountain on Coruscant. That's they're way up in the atmosphere. Okay, so Pershing discovers he really wants to do good because he's not a bad guy. He's just adult. He's a dunce. So he decides he wants to help the New Republic with cloning because he can help people with illness. He can help people like with missing limbs and things like that. Just science is everything. Well, he also brings up while he's talking to Elia Kane who is probably a bone to the dykes out there, but I'm not, she doesn't bother me that much. I don't like her. But she basically befriends him and manipulates him to get him to do something, which is go to the Imperial, where they're dismantling the Imperial fleet, to get a mobile lab so he can start his, do his experiments, because he actually really believes the bullshit she's feeding him, that, well, this is, subtext is, well, if you do it and you're successful, they'll probably let you do it. No, they won't. They want nothing to do with it. Okay. So the end of that is they go to this place, get a mobile lab, get caught by the cops. He gets dragged back to someplace, and they fry his brain. And the Twi'lek that's standing there, basically tells her, should we go? And she says, no, I want to stay. And he, like a dunderhead, leaves. Kane turns it all the way up. Now, why? There are two explanations. Either she's erasing his memory so the Alliance doesn't know what was really going on with Moff Gideon, or she's erasing his memory so they can get rid of the cloning stuff so they don't have to worry about it. The Alliance. Do I believe that she is a reformed Imperial? No. No. Just the way she's been acting is indicative of her behavior inside. All right, she's hiding a lot. So, and can someone in the chat tell me, did Moff Gideon get away, or is he off to a war tribunal still? Because I did not catch that. I've seen it twice. I'll probably have to watch it again to get it. But Moff Gideon is, all right, now, go back to Bo-Katan and Din Djarin. They'll leave Caravella and get attacked by a mass of TIE interceptors. We saw them in Return of the Jedi. She also loses the castle. They sent, whoever sent bombers there, sent bombers. Okay. Thank you, Doug. So she said, this is too many for a warlord. Is this the opening sequence where we get a hint at Grand Admiral Thrawn? All right. Or has Gideon escaped and he's now with Thrawn? This is my opinion. We are eventually going to see Gideon and Thrawn at odds. And that's where I think Gideon is going to end up like that, because Grand Admiral Thrawn, when you look at the way Zahn built him up, he is a fucking genius. And he is fucking ruthless. Okay? He's ruthless. So the idea that he would tolerate the bullshit that Gideon's part of, and Gideon maybe challenging him for leadership, is not acceptable. Okay, Thrawn considers himself heir to the Empire. He is the heir to the Emperor. And by God, he will be the only one. Okay, so I think Favreau and Filoni would probably be wise to explore that rivalry, because if you look at any historical characters within the history of the human race, Caesar had rivals, Hitler had rivals, Hitler's underlings had rivals, Stalin had rivals, Stalin's underlings had rivals, and they always were pitted up against each other for their own purposes. Okay, so there you go. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. This was a very good episode. It's going to be very interesting how Bo-Katan adapts to this is the way, and the Children of the Watch's creed. Okay, because again, not every Mandalorian lives that way. Look at it as somebody, a Protestant, like a mainline Protestant, like a Lutheran, coming into a schismatic Catholic church and getting reintroduced to the very first Christian beliefs, going, not really sure how to think on this. Okay, so it's going to be very interesting. This is going to be short, by the way. It's going to be very interesting going forward where they go. Now, here's the deal about when Ilya Kane basically turned up the volume on the that mind flare thing, or whatever they call it. You know, that would be cool too. And I think it would actually give her more power within all of the Mandalorian clans. I don't know. But let's go back to the Mind Flare. All right, so one of my subscribers, Little Leah Stan, who I really enjoy, said, oh my God, they're erasing the sequel trilogy. Basically getting rid of Snoke. Now, that could be because all of that cloning stuff is in Pershing's mind, or they already have it, and I mean Gideon and the bad guys. They don't want it to get out to the New Republic. Okay. So she is going to totally wipe his mind. I mean, she's basically giving him a lobotomy, like drooling in a cup, lobotomy. Okay. Now, she's not a she's not a repentant Imperial. You can tell she's not. She's still working for Thrawn, or I would say Gideon. It's very interesting. I don't like her character. I don't like her look. Androgynous women really gross me out. It's like they're not proud of being women. They're not proud of what they were blessed with. Okay, and that bothers me. I don't like her haircut. She reminds me of, quite frankly, she reminds me of Molly Damon. Okay, so I don't like it. I don't like it. If you can't be proud of the things that God gave you as a woman, or if you're an asshole and whatever you believe in as a woman, and you're not proud of being feminine, you need help. Okay? I mean, you really are, you need help. So I think that they probably found a really good actress to pull off this asshole psycho bitch, which is what she is, in my opinion. I don't like her. I don't, so she's a bad guy. She's not doing this for the Alliance. Okay? She's not. Okay, now, does the Alliance do stuff like that? Yeah, I could see the New Republic falling into something like that. The fact of the matter is, I don't like the idea, I don't like the idea that that the New Republic is right away doing all the stupid things that the Old Republic did. Some of the things, the Easter eggs were good. There were EU Easter eggs, there were other Easter eggs, and that was fine. And I'm sure sequel trilogies shows will be going, but it doesn't mean anything. Jon Favreau said they would use some things from the sequel trilogy. They're going to pull from everything. And that era. Okay. Here's what other Easter eggs we could have seen. What if when they're walking through that plaza, and you see this and that and the other thing, and you see a very very in the distance, a man and a woman pushing a baby stroller. Now, remember, this is 7 years after the fall of the empire. All right, this is 7 years after Endor. Okay, so, and that man and woman, when you look at them closely, are Han and Leia. We should have seen the Jedi Temple being worked on. All right, that would have been cool. All right, but just seeing the spires and the beauty of the city at night was so invigorating, and it was so beautiful. This is the thing that George wanted. These beautiful vistas. This is what Coruscant looks like. It's like when you go to visit New York City and you're in your 20th floor. Yeah, it does feel like that, doesn't it? When you're in New York City and you're looking down, you're in like one of the taller high rise hotels, and you're looking across the city. That's what that looks like to me. The lights, you see the traffic, Coruscanti traffic going by. You know, it would have been nice to get Easter eggs though of the Jedi Temple. Characters we recognize in the distance, maybe Chewbacca in the distance. But we saw things that we didn't get in Andor. Aliens. We saw Coruscant the way it should look like. Not this pale, sickly, monochrome. I don't understand Tony Gilroy's bullshit. But he didn't have a budget. The budget is being spent on The Mandalorian and the Mandoverse. And, you know, it was beautiful, but the show is really starting to get interesting, and it's so much better than Andor. And the money spent on it proves that Kenobi got screwed. Kenobi should have had more money spent on it. And Favreau and Filoni should have been the ones doing it. And Boba Fett, same thing. You know, they should have been in control. You can tell where she stuck her nose in and where Disney didn't want to spend the money. Okay, so let's talk about the cancellation of Willow. Willow is gone. No more Willow. The show didn't garner any interest. It was woke. People didn't like it. And it's indicative of the direction that Disney's going to go in. I do want to also address the fact that the lady that I think she ran ESPN is now running HR for Disney and global security. Black woman who worked for the company for 20 years. If I hear one person immediately jump on the fact that she was woke, really? How many black women do you know? And I'm going to call them out. Explain to me, if she's a black woman, therefore she's woke, the lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia. My best friend Danielle, who's an Army veteran, who is a devout Catholic, who homeschooled her kids. She's not woke at all. All right. The lady that the lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia is a retired Marine, Corps NCO. And she could probably, you know, bend the people that are saying that between her thumb and forefinger and crush them like a grape. Okay, she's not woke. So if you assume the woman's woke because she's black, I can't talk to you. This is a problem that is starting to happen with the fandom. I want nothing to do with it. Same goes with, I don't want to have anything to do with the channel that would invite Gavin McInnes on. Okay, look, boys, if you don't want Zack Snyder to call you a hate group, please, by all means, don't invite people who are pretty much on the cusp of being designated a hate group. Okay, Gavin McInnes, he represented, I mean, he is the guy that created the Proud Boys. Now, I do agree with him with some of his stuff. But there are things that are wrong with him. He has done some things that are very, very questionable. I don't like him. And the narrative about him is that he's a racist and a misogynist. You know, why would you want to be smeared with that if you're not one? Okay? There's a reason why you don't ask people like him, oh, and Alex Jones, you know, who believes pesticides turn frogs gay. You don't have these people on because of what they have said and what they have done in the past and their problems with law enforcement. Okay? You just don't. All right? There you go. I have spoken. There you go. Anyway, what else is going on? Really, that's it. Bad Batch was a filler episode. If I see the black female Indiana Jones one more time, I'm going to puke. And I know she's probably going to be in almost every episode now. From now until whatever, I would much rather see what's going on with Crosshair than this garbage. And that has nothing to do with any bad feelings I have about Omega. When I saw Oprah Winfrey show up, I was like, oh, fuck. And the reason why is because she's annoying. Or you could do a character like that, but why does she have to be such an arrogant? I mean, they don't really, I mean, look. That wasn't a good episode. I'm sorry. It wasn't good. It was boring. All right. And I got to the point where I didn't care if the lower part of that little island got wiped out by a massive wave. I was like, whatever. So we'll see where it goes. I'm going to watch every episode, of course, because that's what I do, so you don't have to. But if you haven't seen Mandalorian Season 3, watch all 3 of them. All right, tonight's was long. Just seeing Coruscant and seeing Pershing get manipulated into doing something he shouldn't have. It was very masterful, by the way, of Kane to do that. She's a very cagey little bitch, okay? But again, I don't like her. That androgynous look is just, you know, there's no, I think maybe making her a femme fatale, where Pershing gets manipulated because not only did he know her from working for Gideon and the Empire, but also he thought she was hot. And this woman she's just, if I walked past her on the street, I would think that was a man. Sorry. You know, it doesn't work. But for this, it does, I guess. Anyway, my husband is on his way home, so I gotta make this short. But if you haven't seen Mando episode 19, please see it. I do know for a fact that the black pills, especially the holier than thou new YouTubers, are gonna shit all over the ratings because, you know, but, oh, what the hell, I'll go a little further. YouTubers are gonna have to start thinking about what happens when Kennedy leaves. Again, Willow is canceled. That was a Kennedy project. Put that with Feige, put that with the Patty Jenkins movie. Things of hers are going away. Okay, this is indicative of what's going on now. All right, and to be honest, it's good. This is very, very good that this is happening. So the black pills are going to have to understand They built their stuff. Stop it. Okay, Daddy's home. I gotta go. Talk to y'all later. The Black Pills are gonna have to figure out where they go next, because her leaving is the end of a lot of this shit for the Black Pills. See y'all around, guys.